Thank you for listening to the Real Estate Voice podcast. This is Vernon R.E. Jones, managing broker, owner of Jones Homes. And for over 33 years, we have serviced the 7-county Denver metro area. A lot to talk about today. Let's kind of touch on some thoughts that the housing market recession may be returning. Now, recession usually means going back, but I think we're having a recession because of the interest rate environment. Basically, you got interest rates hovering around 7.5, some places even 8% for a 30-year fixed mortgage. And people just aren't used to that. The reality is I have bought so many homes in my life at varying interest rates of 3% to 10%. I often remind people that interest is what you deduct on your home. And the probably, let's say over 30, 40 years, the average interest rate over that 30, 40 year period is around 7.5%. So around where rates are right now. And I believe it's the pace at which they went up rather than what the rate actually is that's kind of deterring some people. But I get it. It did go up fast. And it went up faster than it ever had in 40 years. But a couple things. According to First American is basically an analytics real estate company. And they've been doing this for, 40 years. Let's kind of talk about some things about existing home sales. They're basically going to have a tough time gaining some real momentum in a limited inventory environment where most homeowners are rate locked into their homes. You can't buy what's not for sale. A higher mortgage rate environment resulted in limited sales helps to explain why the housing market has slipped back into a housing recession. Again, usually when you say housing recession, I mean prices are dropping significantly, there's a bunch of inventory, and, well, you kind of get the drift. Basically, I would tell you that once mortgage rate stability gets back and it starts to kind of come together, in other words, the Federal Reserve Board probably isn't going to raise their rates this month. Probably will maybe do something in November, possibly December, depending on what inflationary numbers are. We know inflationary numbers are around 3.7%, obviously significantly down from the close to 9% they were over a year or so ago. But the thing is, where does the housing market go from here? Mortgage rates increased again in August, which means we expect the housing recessionary pressures to continue in the near term until mortgage rates stabilize. However, I think I've just mentioned this, multiple industry forecasts predict that mortgage rates will moderate later in the year if the Federal Reserve Board stops further monetary tightening and provides investors with more certainty. Mortgage rate stability, even if the stabilization occurs at a higher level, is the key to a housing recovery. Obviously, we'd like to have more inventory. But the reality is, a third of home sales that are happening right now are new construction. Usually, the new construction numbers kind of handle maybe 10 to 15% of the sales inventory that's happening. When considering the right time to buy or sell a home, an important factor in the decision should be the market's overall health, which is largely a function of supply and demand. Knowing how close the market is to a healthy level of activity can help consumers determine if it's a good time to buy or sell and what might happen to the market in the future. That is difficult to assess when looking at the number of homes sold at a particular point in time without understanding the health of the market at that particular time. Historical context is critically important. I try to provide that here on the Real Estate Voice. Generally, potential home sales measures existing home sales, which includes single-family homes, townhomes, condominiums, and co-ops, on a seasonally adjusted annualized rate based on the historical relationship between existing home sales and the U.S. population demographic data, homeowner tenure, house buying power in the U.S. economy, price trends in the U.S. market, and conditions in the financial market. Those are kind of the things that we all in the industry try to put together so we can all give an informed information source to our clientele. When the actual level of existing home sales are significantly above potential home sales, the pace of turnover is not supported by market fundamentals, and there is an increased likelihood of a market correction. Conversely, seasonally adjusted annualized rates of actual existing home sales below the level of potential existing home sales indicate market turnover is underperforming at a fundamental, and it's not fundamentally supported by the current conditions. Actual seasonally adjusted annualized existing home sales may exceed or fall short of the potential rate of sales for a variety of reasons, including non-traditional market conditions, policy constraints, and market participant behavior. Recent potential home sale estimates are subject to revision to reflect the most up-to-date information that I try to get for my people listening to the Real Estate Voice podcast. I would tell you, if you have any questions about your particular situation, feel free to call me at 303-359-8218. Thank you for listening to the Real Estate Voice. And as always, please be safe.